We won't go as long as the next one. But going back to
How long
finish.
was that?
We've gone about an hour on that, so we've
Yeah.
waffled enough on that. We'll do for the next half an hour to finish off. We'll go managers again. We started the season with it off, but now to finish our list for all the positions, we'll finish, I guess, with managers. When we do batches of 5, I think
We'll
we
do
agreed.
5. I reckon 5 works.
I reckon 10.
10. Let's do 10.
Let's do 10.
Let's do 10. If we don't waffle enough.
Yeah, that's...
You do
that's the
your,
thing. If we do 5, we're going to waffle so much.
you do your bottom 10 tots,
Waffle.
because you always kick us off for these lists.
Okay, so dead last, I got Company.
Yeah.
Followed by Rob Edwards.
Okay.
Then I've got Nuno,
Nice. Yeah.
Wilder,
Yeah.
Hodgson.
Yeah.
Then Marco Silva.
Yeah.
A little bit low. Howe.
Yeah.
Then Frank.
Yeah. They're all around that mark, these guys.
Then Areola.
Wow, you got Frank low, man. I got Frank way higher.
Then Areola.
Really, yeah.
And then I've got Deitch.
At 11.
So Deitch is 10.
11.
11.
11.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Yourself.
I'm already lost. I'm lost in the 10. So I've gone, okay. I've also got Vincent last.
Yeah.
I've got Edwards, Nuno 18,
Mm.
Chris Wilder 17, Roy Hodgson 16, Iriola 15, Marco Silva 14, Eddie Howe 13, Ten Hag 12, Moyes 11, and stop there.
Okay. And I've got Company 20th. I've got Nuno 19th, Wilder 18th, Hodgson 17th,
Wow.
Edwards
Look at
16th,
his brother Edwards.
Eddie Howe 15th, Gary O'Neill 14th,
Wow, Eddie Howe 15.
Thomas Frank 13th, Dyche 12th, and Marco Silva 11th.
I like it because I don't rate Eddie Howe at all. I think he had a really...
Get your list up again. I need to see.
The biggest difference was I had Edwards at
There.
16th.
You need numbers, bro. Okay, so I've got Ten Hag in my bottom.
Yes.
That's
we'll
fine.
read it.
He's not much. We'll
Yeah,
leave that
yeah,
for the top 10, but
So
I haven't put him that high.
Frequent names. Obviously, someone that's quite high in all of this is Sean Dyche. You had him
No, I don't have Dash in my bottom 10.
bottom 10, and you had him
The disrespect.
11. So the last,
Yes,
the
I'm
last
12th,
spot.
you're 11th,
So
yeah.
I was considering top 10, but I just think there's so many good managers in
I
there.
would say.
Yeah, so
Let's,
Vincent.
let's preface this before. Actually, we should have prefaced it before. There's all these managers are elite, so we're basically picking like
Yeah, I think so.
From
We all
fifth to
had
15th.
consensus. We all had consensus. Vincent last,
Vincent last. We've got,
and that's because. But we said that because
and I respect that. We keep saying this. I respect he's kept at it. He's not altered
Yeah.
the ways in the play. He's changed a little bit
it's just not
recently.
worked, and
but it's
how
not
can you
working.
say like
Yeah.
So Vincent, the problem is that most of these guys, everyone above him, has done something in the Prem.
Premier League,
He obviously had great success in the Championship, but he's done nothing in the
Yeah.
Prem. It's hard to put him above that.
Yeah.
We were debating before this about like where Chris Wilder ranks.
Yeah.
I think
I had him.
You had him
18th. Yeah.
I had
19th.
him
18th. I had Nuno below.
I had him 17th.
Yeah, so I had him 17th as well. And I mean,
Off that
we
season
were
when
thinking
he
maybe
was
he could have been last, but I think you have to give him a bit like credit for the fact that he obviously had a great season with the Sheffield team.
Yeah.
And we can't really judge him off now, but I also think he sort of left on his own accord when he did leave. It's kind of hard. Like it went downhill, but
Yeah.
they weren't like last.
Yeah, you
I think they were, like,
don't know
15th,
if that was
16th.
him, if that was something
Yeah.
else. So yeah,
But mainly because he's had a great season, it's hard to put him
I
much
guess
lower.
the consensus of low one was Eddie Howe though.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
one of the big managers.
Big names. I had him 15th, but you had him,
13th?
and you had him
15th.
15th.
Wow. So 15th.
is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I'll
That is
touch
low.
on it quickly. I just don't rate him as a manager at all. I think he had like a bit of like a bounce last year with the new...
It was hard not to
ownership.
succeed. Like,
Yeah.
they were so low. Newcastle was so low. They had the whole bloody, like
They were
the
gonna be
old-
relegated.
Old regime of what's his name? I forget his name.
Mike Ashley.
Yeah, Mike. It was all pear shaped at Newcastle. Everything was bad.
Yeah, you couldn't go
You
worse.
say that, but they still finished in Champions League spot, which you'd have to give some credit to Eddie Howe.
No, I
and that
agree.
was the thing that we were actually talking about before, and I was like, how much credit do we give Eddie Howe for finishing in the Champions League and spot? And it should be really high, but you know what? When you look at it like that, you put Ten Hag quite low as well.
The fact that they're
So-
worse than you this season, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it's,
And maybe it's harsh because of what's happened recently with injuries and the like, but I still don't reckon he's probably more in my mind. He's not the right man to take them forward for me.
no.
So maybe that's why I've just chucked him down there.
Yeah.
Because
And I think he's going to get
managers-
sacked very soon. So.
he was good at Bournemouth. That's why I give him a bit
Absolutely,
more
yeah.
credit than you guys.
Yeah.
Because I
We kept them up when no one thought it would be possible.
I rated his Bournemouth spell like
It's the
Bournemouth
same as
tenure
the
very
same
highly.
as Luton. When they came up, that was the same thing. It was like, how the hell this tiny team, this tiny stadium, may stay up?
Yeah, no one knew Bournemouth.
And he kept
like-
them for what, 2-3 years over there. And obviously, it went down to that, but still, that's obviously a credit. But when there's so many good managers, and recently so many managers have turned things around, I just don't think I can have him. I can have him a few stops higher. But as I said, between 12th and 16th, these guys I think are all very interchangeable. Different styles of football.
Even up to like
different
8th,
success.
really.
Yeah, there's a few out here that can move around.
Move on.
We can move on to top 10s, yep.
So I'll go top 10. So coming in at number 10, I got Gary O'Neill.
Okay.
Followed by Moyes at 9. Ten Hag at 8. Poch at 7.
Okay.
Ange at 6. Arteta at 5.
Wow.
De Zerbi at 4.
Oh my. There's everything I don't get at all.
Emery at 3. Klopp at 2. And Pep at 1.
Where did you have Dyche? Where did you guys have Dyche?
11.
Dyche
11.
Whoa.
Bro, you guys got Dyche so low.
Got relegated at the end of the day.
With Burnley.
He got relegated.
No, he got sacked.
He actually didn't. He got sacked.
Yeah, but
They
they got
were,
relegated.
I don't know if they were going to get relegated.
You don't reckon he would? You don't
They,
reckon he would say?
I don't,
easy,
because-
they sacked him before their easiest run.
Nah, it's BS. Dyche is a baller, bro.
Yeah, he
I've
is.
gone-
I just think
I've
there's so
gone-
many good managers.
I've gone De Zerbi 10, Gary O'Neill 9, Poch 8, Thomas Frank 7, Ange 6, Dyche 5, Unai 4th, Arteta 3rd, Klopp, and then Pep number 1. You had Pep number 1, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gee, if you didn't put on one question,
I just want to check because some people would argue.
I went Ten Hag, Moyes, Poch, Iriola, De Zerbi, Postecoglou, Emery,
De
Arteta,
Zerbi gets way too much credit.
Klopp, and Guardiola 1.
See, I want to touch on two things. So firstly, I want to touch on De Zerbi, then I'll touch on Dyche, and then I'll leave you guys to it. But firstly, De Zerbi, I think the reason we give him so much credit is, and the reason you don't give him that much credit is, you go, but he's only performing to what he should be performing this year. If you look at that squad is not a 7th place team.
I think De Zerbi gets too much credit for what Graham Potter did. Like Potter,
He put the blueprint there.
the blueprint. De Zerbi's been there 1 year. De Zerbi's been there 1 year. Potter did this for like 3-4 years. Like
That's where I come from because he's done it for 3-4 years, and De Zerbi's sped it up so fast.
Yeah, De Zerbi's
He's
taken it to the next
accelerated it.
level though.
no,
They were
I'm
at
not
middle
convinced.
place. They were middle table.
I think
Now
there's-
they're starting to push like Europe.
Middle table. They're also middle table.
They were
They're
never
in Europe.
7
They're,
6.
they're in Europe right now,
No, I know. Well, no, I know, but I'm saying is in.
and that's in
Like-
Europe as well. Sorry, they're
like-
both in Europe.
I think. I just think De Zerbi's done like he's taken them from where they were to the same spot. I know.
Not the same. And to lose Caicedo and McAllister, your two best players in the team.
No, but Potter lost players as well. Like
Yeah, but not of that regard. We'll actually. How many times have you said this year going through? Oh, I'm waiting for.
They literally lost their player of the year in Kukurea. I don't think you guys understand. Kukurea was their player of the year the season he left.
And then Potter left 3
Yeah, they
months
brought
after
in
that.
Estupiñán, who just replaced it.
No, but what I'm
replaced
saying
him
is-
straight away like that. Who
They lost
now?
Basuma.
Yeah, but they lost him, and they haven't really replaced Caicedo and McAllister, which is in the past they've always gone through and replaced them. So they replaced Basuma, they brought in Caicedo. They replaced Cucurella, they brought in Estupiñán. They've made good replacements.
I think the difference in the two of them, and I'm all for what you're saying. I still agree with what you're saying.
It's been 1 year.
But I
How
think
can
he's
you be-
sped the progression up, top of a European group, sitting in 6th in the Premier League.
Seventh.
Seventh. The way they play their football, it's from the blueprint that Potter set, but it's to a different level. It's not what Potter was. It's a different step from what Potter was doing. It's accelerated. The progression of the club has been improved by De Zerbi. It was set foundationally down by Potter. The way they
They're
played,
seventh.
the way they signed.
But it's also 3 points off 11th.
Read the clubs they're ahead of. Read me the clubs they're ahead of.
They're ahead of good clubs. But I want to see
And
where they.
that's down to the way he plays, the way they
I just want
coach.
to see where they finish because I look at a lot of their results recently. Like that, it's I just don't think.
And this is coming from me. I've been quite critical in Brighton the way they've been playing, but I still think the way that De Zerbi coaches, and this thing he coaches very, very well.
They haven't been having too bad of results recently.
It's pretty yo-yo. Which is fine for Brighton. Which is fine. And they're currently exceeding expectation because I think we all had them 9th. So it's it's hard to dispute that. I just think, what do you guys have on your thing?
6th.
6th and
5th.
I just think 5th is really high. I think we have managers who have been able to achieve tangible sort of results, by performing with a Burnley or doing things with much lesser clubs.
You got the top of the Europa League group.
No, it's
with a group with Ajax and like.
I just don't think it's a big enough time period.
So what do you reckon, Brighton?
I think it's been 1 year, but I think it's hard to put De Zerbi in that bracket when it's been 1 year. Just personally, I don't know. I want to see.
Then what's okay? Yeah.
No, they're overperforming
You're right.
for the
No,
players.
If
you're
he
right.
finishes the season in these spots, he will be
correct,
elevated immensely. Like he will go from 10th to probably 5th. Genuinely, because I think like that makes. I think that makes such a difference. Like where you finish.
Yeah, no,
and where they are now, I just think,
That's fair enough.
I think 3 points from where they are now to 11th, like from overperforming to underperforming, is minimal. And if that, I can only judge them off where they are now, 100%. But I also think it's about like where they can get to, or where they end the season. That for me will have a massive impact on De Zerbi's spot.
I want to touch on Deitch as well, and I agree with how high you put
So
him.
I Deitch. Purely because
I'm big
what he's
on.
done.
I'm huge on Deitch and Moyes, so I've been huge on them. Yeah. Just the fact that he's only just come to Everton and stuff is probably just like altered right at the end of last year.
Yeah.
But it's just
8
altered.
months.
So kept them up.
Yeah, so it's altered a bit of my perception on how good of a manager he is. I definitely don't have any complaints for you putting him 5th.
Like that Burnley team was so bad.
I wanted to. I just looked at the managers above him and I thought, in the last 18 months, they've done more than him.
We're also the same guys. You're also the same guys always saying, I know you're not really disputing it, but saying like, if Everton had 10 more points, like, they'd be like...
or 9th, the Prem.
Now they would be... They'd be 12th.
12th.
But like, we've just said, though, how small the point gap is, though.
Oh, but,
like, as in, between 7th and where they would be...
So they're going to lose another
points.
10?
Huh?
They're going to lose another 10, though.
Everton?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
the thing that I like on Daesh, I appreciate it. Like, in my list, 12th is pretty impressed considering the way he has to play. The way he has to play football. The thing I've been really impressed with is the way that he has evolutionized his style of football.
Yeah.
It's no longer just counter attack.
Yeah.
They are out like XGing and out shooting teams by playing 38% possession. So it's still absorb pressure, but he's playing a different way. That now he's probably got the talent from Burnley. He's got more talent that he goes and he set his team up to create from without the ball. They're better without it, so they can go and not counter attack, but string together attacks. They string together like Ghana, Onana, Decore, all these guys. This midfield, the way they spring their attacks is different to what Burnley was doing. And everyone's like, oh yeah, Sean Dyche counter attack, but it's not actually counter attack. And that's what I could have put him a little bit higher, but I just want to appreciate that he's evolved the game a little bit, and he's learned obviously from what he learned from Burnley. Picked a few things together and got better players. And you're right. A lot of these players in this sort of mid-bracket can swing around. I just keep in mind that, obviously it was Burnley, then that's understandable, right?
But has De Zerbi done more than Deitch has done in his career? I just don't know. Great style of play, but...
I think it's recency biased.
I'm very recency, but
and surely that makes you question where you put him.
It does make a question now. I don't disagree. I don't like what
some points. Recency bias is like the point.
Is it not like
the point that you've said?
Revolutionised though what Brighton are about?
I don't think.
I think the points you've made have made me rethink it. I don't know if I necessarily would have altered it too much, but it's definitely made me rethink it.
Still think
like the Potter thing he mentioned, I kind of like. Just
you got to keep that in mind always because he's the blueprint.
Well, I just think Potter's impact on that.
So I kind of like
so
dismissed it a bit to the after you've brought it up. I do start to think and I go, Potter put a foundation and he's just pushed on the foundation. It's a bit like if we look at the example of imagine Arteta left and someone came into Arsenal and won the league. You'd say Arteta was the blueprint.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that, I would say.
Yeah. I agree. Like as in. I think De Zerbi's best attribute is the fact that he he is in 7th. I can't take that away from him. I go on about we'll see what they end the season. Yeah. He is in 7th, right? So they're currently overperforming my expectation. And he's doing it with a much weaker team than Potter had, right?
Yeah, bare bones,
you can debate where you think they would finish with other managers. Like you were saying, you think they'd be much lower. I still think they have a decent team. I think their team is still decent, right? Mm-hmm. But I just want to see a bit bigger sample size from De Zerbi to call them.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Fair. Any other?
Everything else was we had very similar. Apart from if you want to touch on Ten Hag, but
Poch, where do we have a Poch? I think it's an interesting one. Where'd you have Poch?
I had him 8th.
I had him 8th.
8th or 9th.
Yeah, so we all have Poch around the same area. Like,
But
has
this-
Ange
see,
done
I've-
more in his career than Poch? Is Ange a better manager than Pochettino? Like,
I don't know, but I think
that's a
you
great-
dismiss with Ange. So
Why had Ange higher?
no, I agree. I think the reason we all have him higher though is we've understood Ange's career as a whole because we're Australian, and there's definitely some bias
But-
there.
Yeah.
This goes. It's sort of like because they're in for fifth. It goes to prove that Celtic ain't. It wasn't just Scottish League or
No.
Asian Cup.
And
Wasn't
you
just
remember,
Australia.
that was
It can translate to the.
And Rangers,
EPL?
what he did at Celtic, like Rangers was the powerhouse for a couple of years. Celtic,
Like 1 or 2.
yeah, but that hadn't happened ever in the history.
It
Celtic
had.
had like
It
their
had.
worst ever season. He came in straight away, won it. You look what he's able to come
They
in.
won treble. They won a
Celtic
treble.
won the
I'm
league
pretty
10 years
Yeah,
in
but,
a row, bro.
yeah, but he's able
Like,
to come in. You've seen with Ange, he's able to come in, adjust, and straight away
Ange has
have a
done it in
bounce.
every league he's been in. Like
And you know what you dismiss as well? He won the Asian Cup in an Australian team that was not the best. I understand it was a home Asian Cup.
that's why I put
But I
Ange
actually
above.
put
I'm
that-
dismissing it. That's why he's above him. But
I
like,
put that above the Celtic feat, the Asian Cup.
I also think I think even though Poch is 8 in mind, sorry, I think we've rated Poch fairly, to be honest,
Yeah.
because he hasn't
You could be very harsh and put him like
like
12th or something because of how bad
it
they're
could be
playing.
harsh. I also think you could put him higher.
Yeah, because of the
This
history.
guy did manage PSG and he
made
did take
Tottenham,
Spurs
yeah.
to a Champions League final. Like, bums don't manage PSG. Like
No,
as in, I know he didn't succeed there massively,
but who does?
but it's like to get the PSG job, you have
Yeah.
to be a good manager, man. Like,
And it's a hard job as well. Like everyone wins the league there, so you basically get sacked unless you win the Champions League.
Poch's ranking is so fine that in 18 months or in a year's time, if Chelsea are 3rd or 4th, and
He'll
he's
be
still
like
there,
top 3.
He's like
he will
fifth or
literally
fourth.
will literally probably be 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Like that is
He's got the resume for
that
it.
is how big this Chelsea job is for
Yeah.
for like managers' careers. Like, I mean,
But that's the same thing for me with Ange though, because this Tottenham thing was to prove that what he's done
100%
for the last
agree,
10
100%
years actually works.
Yeah.
And shit, yeah, it works because it's working to a great degree.
I think that's why we put him so high though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm
that
sort
makes
of like,
sense. 100%.
because what you say and what we've all said, it's saying with
I think
Poch,
we've ranked it fairly.
Yeah, with what these two jobs they're currently in are going to prove what they've done in the past. Can it actually work? Can it sustain itself?
All we can base it off is right now.
Exactly. Because
it's like-
both managers have been around for 10, 12 years.
Yeah,
with
20,
with
like-
One
like,
did it in the higher leagues. One
Yeah,
didn't.
exactly.
And
But they've
there was
kept
always
their
a question
systems.
mark
They've
with
never-
Ange, and obviously it's very, very early on. But
same-
you'd say those
it's-
question marks
but
have been answered to a
it's,
degree.
It's early on with Poch as well, though, right? Because the whole his system hasn't changed.
Poch probably didn't have
everywhere
as
he's
many
gone.
question marks though, considering.
No, the question is though, will his system work in this Chelsea
Yeah,
team
I
with
don't
all this ego, all this talent? But so far,
You've heard with Ange though, like he was big a couple of weeks back, and I was listening to one of his press conferences, and he was like, they were like, to take the next step, do you think you need to sign all these world class players? Like, if you were Chelsea and you were Poch and you had spent $1 billion in 18 months, would you like that? And he goes, well, I don't necessarily think that works. He goes, you need to if you look at the best sides, you need 3 or 4 world class players, and then just workhorses. Then underneath the workhorses, you need players who are quality, but also understand they're not going to play every week. And it's about having this balance.
Well, he's built at Spurs. He's building at Spurs. So
Which was the hard thing that every manager has come to with PSG, and it's probably why they've took it the step back. They got rid of Neymar and Messi.
He had to manage Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily easy. Like, we look at those
No,
players.
that's what I'm saying. Is that like
and that's not Poch's way. Poch built Tottenham from down there.
Yeah.
Well,
They
Tim
were all
Sherwood,
role players.
stinkers,
They were all role players.
all the way, like Christian Eriksen, Kane, all these. He's developed all these players.
he built
created
Tottenham
Tottenham. He
in the
created
way
Tottenham.
that Ange is trying to build Tottenham now.
that's
really.
almost why I think he's getting a tough run at 8th.
Yeah.
but it's also like, yeah.
Over the last 5 years, has he
the
been
reason he
as
got the
good as-
PSG job because he was rated so highly back then, and then it hasn't panned out as well as PSG. So yeah, he's been dropped down. But as we said,
Even
if he turns this around
I
with
was about to say,
PSG or with Chelsea,
Yeah,
the Chelsea will
definitely.
prove it because he's built teams up and that's where he's been at his best.
that's why I so much,
if
yeah.
he can do it with Chelsea where he's given everything, that goes to show he's got a different part. Because Southampton, he built Southampton, he built Tottenham.
Yeah, Southampton
Can
as
he
well.
do it where he gets all the resources? That's because that
Like,
PSG.
that's
couldn't
why
quite
I
do
have
it.
faith in Chelsea
Yeah.
to come back because
Because
I
Poch.
rate Poch.
Yeah.
But we're rated among the other managers. It's just hard to put
It's
him
hard at
above.
the moment.
It's
yeah.
just sometimes hard as well because when you look at a lot of managers, sometimes, I'm not saying Poch is, but so far into their career, sometimes they can just be past it. You look at like Mourinho, who was such a good manager, you'd say he's past it now. Like, he won't get another big big job in my opinion.
I mean, should we quickly touch on like why we all had like the top two we had, like we can have
a quick touch on it. Yeah,
like as in it's top of the league. I think we all had Pep, like because
Treble.
not long ago there literally up until the treble there used to be a debate between Klopp and
Klopp,
Pep.
like, yeah.
But that was
Pep
mainly
can't-
from Liverpool fans.
But it was a thing that like,
I could make a
it.
debate about Klopp a few years back. I could definitely argue
Pep
Klopp.
can't do it with like Klopp's team.
Yeah.
If Klopp had all the money, he could.
Yeah.
But I think Pep has this ability. We talk about the PSG thing. If Pep went to PSG, he could probably make it work.
Yeah, he would.
Because some managers can just deal with big name players.
And he demands respect.
He just does. Like he
Yeah.
walks in with the resume. Is that why
I think just with like, although everyone goes on about Klopp, that the argument has always been that Pep couldn't do Klopp's job, but I don't think Klopp could do Pep's job either.
Yeah,
so
and
it's such a
that's
hard.
It's fair.
And when you look at both of those, yes, Klopp has done it with Dortmund and done it with Liverpool in a lot harder circumstances with a lot less money or a lot less.
Being the underdog, like
But
maybe
say,
it's
he
the
thrives
underdog.
in that. Yeah.
Whereas
but
Pep can
Pep
shine
wears all the
under
nice
the
suits.
pressure.
Yeah.
He
Klopp's
can
never
shine, he
zip
can
up
shine
jacket,
under
like,
the pressure.
yeah.
And I think that whole debate, whatever that debate was a couple of years ago,
Unfortunately,
it's probably done now.
Pep, I think now
Pep's got
has-
2 trebles.
Well, Pep go down
Pep is
as
only like
Pep's got-
8 or 9 trophies at the moment in his career off Sir Alex,
Saf.
who's the highest before Pep by like 20 trophies. I think Ancelotti's in third, and he's only got like 25, whereas Ferguson's got 43.
And
And
if Pep says it,
Pep's
say
at
it in 2
35 or
years.
30.
Is Pep
36
the
at the
greatest
moment.
manager of all time?
Once he ever takes in trophies, I think you just have to say, right?
Not yet.
I would sit here and say he is.
I think once
I think he'll finish as the greatest manager, but I don't think he is at the moment.
I think we can agree because he'll finish with more trophies. So absolutely, but once he
Sir
ticks that
Alex
off,
with the 13 prems and he continually with every single time.
Mate, he's absolutely like making the Prem a Farmers League. Like he's actually
But so did Sir
biggest
Alex.
thing-
made the Prem.
the biggest thing I
He won
picked up.
13 in 25 years.
No, but the biggest thing I
but it
picked
was a
up
bit
on though was Thiago Silva's recent interview. He said, "I would have never come to the Prem because it was just high balls and physicality. I only came to the Prem." He said, "I never liked the Prem. I only liked it when Pep came because everyone followed Pep. Everyone copies Pep. The ball's on the ground now.
mental.
The ball gets played through lines. Thiago Silva, one of the smartest players to play. He's picked that up, and that's what Pep's done. He's revolutionized. I've said a lot that revolutionized a lot today, but he's done that. He's changed the whole league.
It's definitely a big aspect
Bournemouth
of
are
it.
playing it. Brentford are playing it. Like everyone plays these different styles.
I just think with Sir Alex, we talk about the Klopp and Pep debate. Klopp couldn't do Pep, and Pep couldn't do Klopp.
Pep's done now as Pep.
Yeah.
Sir Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Pep
but
stuff.
whereas if you look at Sir Alex, he did it with the best team, with the big players, but he also did it when in teams where it wasn't the best team. You look at like some of the leagues they won, they weren't the
We're
best team,
in
but you
the
look at
era-
them.
We're in the era now of 100 points where he's in the era of 78 points.
Yeah, that is a real thing as well.
Yeah.
It's always going to be hard to compare.
It's
You're
just like
always
a
gonna have an
basketball
argument.
Jordan LeBron debate.
I
You
just
can
do you
never.
not
always
get
be,
the
like-
do you not get that little bit of it though? Sir Alex did do it in
Has
both
Pep
the Pep
Pep-
and the Klopp way.
Has Pep even had the chance though to do it with
No.
a bad team? Like to do it with
No,
a bad
no,
team?
no, no.
Because he's always worked at clubs.
To be honest, though, he
Where he's had
put
money,
together.
yeah,
He
and he's-
put together Barcelona very well.
And he's put together City as well.
He's put together City very
He had
well.
the money to do it.
Okay, no. With City, I
Jesus
agree.
Christ,
I
how much
agree.
money? How many teams have spent money and it's all gone pear shaped?
No, I agree. But with the
Pep has
Barcelona
got-
one's a bit of a far-fetched.
That's not far.
Yeah,
He put it together though. He made Barcelona that refound
He
that
was the
Cruyff
manager of
system.
that-
Yeah, he
of that
refound
Barcelona
what Cruyff
team.
was all about. He that Cruyff domination refound itself in Pep Guardiola. And resurfaced itself.
Whether Pep had an instrumental part
You
to
can't
play
say it was
in those
obviously-
players' development.
Obviously, you can't say it's just Pep.
But those
the way
players
that-
there we're talking about,
You know,
all
but-
11 of that
but we
starting
keep
11
saying this.
go down as the
Yeah.
greatest players of all
I
time.
know, but you're not listening. Like he has to put that together. You have to demand respect. That was his first gig, one of his first early gigs, right? And he's gone and demanded that. He's refound what Barcelona was all about. Not that they were bad before it, but they had to refind the domination. He found it. He dominated. He's gone to Bayern. He got it to Bayern was probably less so. It was already there. Did itself. But then City as well. That team changed like that.
Yeah,
and he found what he needed. He
went
put
in
together
and
and did
got
it.
rid of good players.
Yeah.
because they just didn't. They didn't.
And
they
when he
weren't gonna
stuffed
work on
up
him.
in Navas, Bravo. When he stuffed up with that, he'd fix it.
Had a few fallbacks, didn't
Yeah.
go to plan, but like,
And he still
but
fixes
yeah,
it.
But yeah,
That's the thing of a good manager.
I love Pep though as well with how he tries to take the pressure off all his players.
he takes all the blame. He takes all the blame.
He takes all the blame, but even in the stuff like he takes the pressure of that next striker that's going to come in. Like straight away with Aguero, he's like,
We will not replace him.
no player will ever replace him. No player will.
We will not replace him.
He knew he'd
The
replace
greatest
him.
interview of all
But the
time.
thing
Oh my
was,
God.
because when Jesus then took over, he didn't want to put that pressure onto Jesus. And even with Haaland to an...
Okay, well, Jesus, no, that was a different time. You mismatched the time period.
No.
It was Haaland.
With Haaland next.
No, I know. No, but it went Aguero, then Jesus, then Haaland.
Nah, they were together
no,
because
it
they
went-
both played.
What,
that.
it was straight after Haaland
Yes,
from Aguero?
Haaland signed the season after Aguero.
No.
I swear he did.
He did.
Nah, Aguero's
Yes,
been
he
gone
did.
for 3
Aguero-
seasons now.
No, Aguero.
Did
retired.
Aguero went to Barca?
Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping.
It was at least one season without it.
What?
There was one season without it.
I'm tripping.
There's
because
one
I
season-
swear
there was
they
one
signed
season without
Haaland.
it.
The season after.
Nope,
Because everyone's
Aguero.
like, we could
I'm
replace him.
putting my hand on my heart here. I'm putting my hand on my heart
You
here.
might be right because Aguero's been gone.
We cannot replace him. 2021.
Yeah, and he only signed 2022. It was one season. There was one season.
That's crazy. I didn't date that. I genuinely thought it was the same thing. Because in the meme, like you can't replace him. Then
There was
Haaland
one
rocks up.
season, that season where it was just Sterling bagging goals and they won the Prem, remember?
He was at Barca. He went to Barca.
Yeah, like that whole.
And then he
attack.
had a
Frick.
All right, to finish off, to end us all off, just go through your list one more time before we
The whole
end.
thing?
Just read it from 20 to 1.
Yeah,
so we
okay,
know
no
what we'll
problem.
finish up on. And we can wrap it up for the week.
So Company, Edwards, Nuno, Wilder, Hodgson, Silva, Howe, Frank, Areola, Deitch, O'Neill, Moyes, Ten Hag, Poch, Ange, Arteta, Deservi, Emery,
Deserving
Klopp,
over
Pep.
Arteta is crazy, man.
Yeah, okay, we've already
Your
discussed
list.
this. Don't need to go back in the past.
Okay, so I've got last place Vincent Company as the certified worst manager in the league.
Consensus.
Rob Edwards, Nuno Dos Santos, Chris Wilder, Roy Hodgson probably gets a bit of a stiff go. Iriola, Marco Silva, Eddie Howe, Ten Hag, David Moyes, De Zerbi, Gary O'Neill after his wonders at Wolves and Bournemouth, Poch, Thomas Frank, Ange, Sean Dyche, Unai Emery, Mikel Arteta, Jurgen Klopp,
Big boys.
and Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. And I went Company 20. 19 was Nuno, 18 Wilder, 17 Hodgson, 16 Edwards, 15 Eddie Howe, 14 Gary O'Neill, 13 Frank, 12 Dyche, 11 Silva,
Gosh, low.
10 Ten Hag, David Moyes 9, Pochettino 8th, Iriola 7th, Roberto Zerbi 6th, Ange 5, Unai 4, Mikel 3, and then the big two, Jurgen and Pep.